Hello, my name is Shelley Power, and I'm the Executive Director of Philadelphia Ballet. Welcome to Preludes with Philadelphia Ballet. Today we're going to be talking with our panelists about George Balanchine's The Nutcracker, set to the beautiful score by Tchaikovsky. So welcome, Fernanda, Jay, and of course our Artistic Director, Angel Correia. Perhaps we can start off this conversation with, what was your first experience with dancing the Nutcracker?
My first experience with the Nutcracker was when I first moved to the United States. I came here to finish my dance studies at age 17, so I did not grow up with the Nutcracker like most dancers in America do. And I immediately fell in love with learning the choreography, dancing to the music that the music we grow up listening to, but putting steps to it was really special. And so my experience was a little later, but it was very special.
Where is your home, Fernanda?
I'm originally from Rio de Janeiro, Brazil.
And have your parents seen you dance the Nutcracker?
They have not. They have seen videos and clips of me, and we're working on that.
Good. Well, we hope to see them maybe this season. Jay, what about you? What was your first experience with the Nutcracker?
My first experience with the entire Nutcracker, as opposed to the suite that everybody grew up hearing, was the first rehearsal when I joined the ballet orchestra about 1,000 Nutcrackers ago, and that's a literal statement. It's not an exaggeration.
When did you join the ballet orchestra?
It was about 40 years ago. I don't have
Wonderful.
an exact date. And it was just, I felt like I was hanging on for dear life because it was a huge amount of unfamiliar music, and then we were in the orchestra pit, and I wasn't used to playing in a pit, but apparently it went okay because I'm still here.
Good, good. Angel, what about you?
Well, me, same as Fernanda, because I was born in Spain. There's not a tradition of the Nutcracker. So my first Nutcracker was with American Ballet Theatre when I was 19 or 20. So it was like the most beautiful ballet I've ever seen, the most beautiful music. Every show I was there watching, and even if I wasn't dancing, I was just there enjoying the music. And everyone who was telling me, "Are you crazy? The Nutcracker, we've done the Nutcracker a million times." And I was like, "No, I love it." And it's funny because I've done it many times and I've seen it many times, and I still feel the same way about the Nutcracker. It's the music, the story, the feeling of warmth that gives you. It doesn't go away. It just stays with you.
What was your first role in Nutcracker? Do you remember?
The first role was the Nutcracker. I was the
You
Nutcracker.
were actually the Nutcracker.
I was the Nutcracker because in the version that American Ballet Theatre was doing at that time, the small Nutcracker becomes a big Nutcracker, an adult Nutcracker. So I remember I was in this huge cabinet that it was supposed to get enlarged, and then I was inside the cabinet, and they had to open the doors and come down, and this huge mask, I couldn't see anything, and I was like stepping on things that I didn't know what it was, but it was very, very exciting. Everything, it felt like a dream for me and for everyone in the cast and for the audience as well. I could tell the reaction of every single thing that is going on. So.
Well, George Balanchine's Nutcracker, of course, we know is at least 56, 57 years old since we've been doing it at Philadelphia Ballet. How do you get through, and I'm going to go to you, Jay, first, because you've admitted to 40 years of playing the music. How do you get through year after year of the same music? What does it feel like doing that music year after year? Does it change?
It does, to some degree. But basically, there are a couple things. One is that you have to remember that you've played it a zillion times, but a lot of people who are out in the audience, it's their first time. And so you have to play it as much as you can like it's the first time, and with as much energy and excitement. And there's also kind of the challenge of trying to, even after that time, make each one a little better than the previous one. The music holds up obviously really well. I still hear things in it, little details and whatnot that, ooh, I didn't notice that before. And I also kind of like the image and the tradition that Tchaikovsky conducted at the Academy in 1891, about 10 feet away from where I sit.
Wow,
so
that's
I always
amazing.
kind of think of Tchaikovsky's spirit as being there with us a little bit.
Yes, I would imagine so. I would imagine so. Angel, you are known not only around the world for performing and probably have danced every role that is out there, but I know from experience watching you in rehearsal, you are just an incredible coach. So I want to hear from you how you coach the specifically, certainly the core, and there's a lot of synchronicity, but the major roles for the Nutcracker. Maybe share with us, and then Fernanda, you can maybe talk about what that's like getting those experiences with Angel.
Yeah, I think that the ballet of the Nutcracker, the music is so important, and also Mr. Balanchine used to say that the dancers are they're showing the music, making the music visible. So I think that what we focus mostly is on the music and how the dancers, they connect with the music and they understand the music. And as Fernanda was saying, also it's very important to get the dancers healthy into the run. So I think that one of the stars of the show is the physical therapist, because she has her plate, her schedule full all during that Nutcracker. But I think that it's most of the dancers, they've danced it before and they know the story, they know the steps. It's just working with them so they can actually get into the run of the Nutcracker in a healthy way, not only physically but mentally as well. So, but most of them are very familiar with the ballet. We just have to, make sure that they're well and healthy.
That's good. I was thinking about when you were talking about the snow scene, what it must be like dancing on stage with not real snow, of course, but snow falling down on the stage. Maybe you've only been doing this will be your third year of doing Nutcracker. Tell us what you do to manage that anxiety of actually performing with that falling all around you.
The first time is always a bit shocking, is always a little, you know what you expect, but it always feels a little bit different. Perhaps the most surprising thing is how it always gets stuck in your lips. I think because we're smiling and we're looking up, and you always swallow that paper snow, and it's not the most pleasant experience, but it's just part of it. It's part of the job. But it is so magical. It's truly, you're running and there's paper snow falling, but you just know that for
like
the
snow.
Audience, yes, that it just looks so dazzling, and it really takes the audience into the story. So I think it's tough to get used to in the beginning, but once you do, you learn to enjoy that feeling of being part of that scene. It's everyone's favorite scene.
And I love this about Philadelphia Ballet because it reminds me of when I was a child, standing at the stage door waiting for the dancers to come out. And I think this is somewhat of a tradition, I know, but also a little unusual that it's still going on. And I'll walk out, and of course they're not waiting for me, but they're waiting for the dancers, and you can see the eagerness on these little children's faces just to see you walk out as people. What's that experience like?
That's really what makes it all worth it. It sort of highlights the purpose of what we do every day on the stage. It might be your 20th show and you're exhausted and everything hurts when you're leaving the theater, and you walk out and there's people there that had just had the most amazing experience, and they're going to take it with them, they're going to talk about it, and you've just made an impact, and you were part of that. You created something that people will take with them, and that just brought beauty to their lives. And there's nothing like that. That really is the whole point of what we do, and being reminded of that during the Nutcracker really can sort of breathe new life into what we do, and makes us even more excited to come back the next day.
That's nice, because it is during your holiday season as well. This is usually when families come together, and I know for you and Jay and Angel, not only are you directing, but when you dance, this is many, many years of compromising and giving up your holiday time. What do you do to celebrate that once Nutcracker curtain goes down?
It's funny because we are exhausted as well. I mean, I'm not exhausted physically, but emotionally it has been so much because you care for the dancers. I'm actually backstage, not in the back of the theater, not backstage. Backstage before the show, but during the show, I'm on the back of the theater and I'm dancing with them. I'm worried that a dancer is, if something goes wrong or something goes well, and I get excited. So when I was a dancer, I was in control, but now that I have to watch them, it's the nerves that I have, they're much higher than when I was a dancer. So I'm exhausted by the end of the Nutcrackers. So I try to just relax. And I mean, during the Nutcrackers, there's some time also to enjoy some time. And it's funny enough because seeing the kids after the show, going to the dancers and asking for autographs is wonderful, but also seeing them coming in and seeing them with the excitement. Some of them are wearing their tutus and they're all exciting and giggling, and then they sit down and they're like something magical is happening. So I love to experience all of that, and I love to share that with them. And the Nutcracker it's that image that we have. I always say in front of the fire with the hot chocolate and with your whole family talking and maybe singing Christmas carols. So I know that it's very poetic and, it's not what it happens, but it gives you that feeling of warmth. So yeah, I think that with every Nutcracker I experience that, and it's a great way to celebrate.
Right. It truly is magical for all of Philadelphia, as well as for Philadelphia Ballet and the orchestra. I want to thank you, Fernanda. We're looking so forward to seeing you perform. Jay, we're going to be looking for that snow in your tuba. And Angel, of course, thank you so much for sharing all of your gifts with all of our dancers in the audience and all of the community. It really is a special moment for all of us. And thank you for joining us. And we hope to see you at George Balanchine's The Nutcracker with Philadelphia Ballet.